Welcome back to the Road Show. This morning in the Buzz. Over the weekend, a 14-year-old Dutch girl left Portugal on a mission to become the youngest person in the world to sail solo. Laura Decker isn't the first teen to try, because earlier this year we told you about Abby Sunderland. Yep. Her boat had autopilot problems in the middle of the Indian Ocean, forcing the California native to abandon her trip. And while Laura's parents are insisting she still has the endurance level of an adult, many are saying that teenagers are really too young to even try such a feat. Take a look.
I think that we've become a reality show society, and that these parents are putting her in jeopardy in order to essentially cast a reality show of one where she's the star. Unfortunately, I think the parents here aren't thinking, or if they are, they're more focused on their needs, perhaps, to have an extraordinary daughter.
Very interesting. You know, I wasn't allowed to walk down to Dee's Deli at the corner, which was only a block and a half away, to go get my Cheetos and my Yoo-Hoo. So I don't think I'd ever be allowed to do this. But what do you guys think? Are teens too young to be going on these? You know, I mean, on the one hand, you do have, there are some extraordinary children out there with extraordinary talents. And sometimes you do need to let your child go their own path, make their own decisions, and see what happens. But around the world, I don't know.
That's kind of a stretch. You know, I think it all depends on what happens during and after this voyage. Assuming she's safe and everything works out fine. If people start coming out of the woodworks and all of this journey is caught on tape, and there's some reality show that comes up after this, like the previous one where we heard that the Sunderland father had had like 4 or 5 kids, had no money, was trying to, you know, send his daughter off so she could make money for the, you know, that sort of thing. The motives, like the doctor said, that sort of stuff is sketchy.
Yeah. I have trouble imagining ever letting my son take off training wheels on a tricycle. So for me to imagine letting him go out and sail across the world, I mean, there are 14-year-olds out there who, granted, are very mature, but I don't know. I mean, what does she do if she's out in the middle of the ocean? This Abby Sunderland was lucky that
she was out in the middle of the Indian Ocean,
rescued when all went wrong. But I mean, it's just as likely that she could have had that boat overturned and have drowned out there. And what are the parents going to do in that case?
I think also, you know, there are certain decisions. The reason that we wait for a child to be 16 before they drive, and 18 before they vote, and 21 before they drink is because there are just certain life skills that teenagers are not equipped with yet, because they don't have the experience. So no matter how mature you are, you don't have the experience. On the other hand, there is such a term as helicopter parents. Parents who constantly hover, who don't let their kids make their own choices, who don't let them do this, who don't let them do that, and they don't really grow up to be, you know, well-developed kids.
Well, the thing too is, like, oh, go ahead, finish.
But where is, you have to find that what's the point at which you're saying this is too dangerous, but this is just too far?
Well, people would say to me, I guess the counter argument to my thing would say, hey, well, you let your 8-year-old son play hockey, and he could get his, you know, slice with a skate, and you know, something, God forbid, could happen like that. It's a little bit more of a controlled environment. I mean, he's wearing a lot of equipment. There's coaches on the ice. Accidents do happen. But if something like that does happen, I'm probably about 30 seconds away from the closest medical center. You know, if you're out in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and you know your mast comes off that boat and you've only got one mast, it's over. You can't. And there's also a lot of physical things that come about when you're out. I mean, we've all been out in boats. I've been out last week. I was out in the middle of Narragansett Bay, and we lost the steering in the motorboat. I mean, we could have rowed to shore. That doesn't happen when you're out there in the middle of the ocean.
The other thing is, your brain at that age is not developed to make all of those decisions that may need to be made in that situation.
It's very true. You know, I'm curious to hear what people on our live blog are saying about this morning, and I know, Mel, you're talking to them.
I am, absolutely. And I have to say, you know, it's a really, really tough to think about, because, I mean, you want to give children their independence, of course, but when it comes to risking their life, and a lot of them may not admit to risking their life, but it is so dangerous. But let's head on over to the live blog right now and see what some of our bloggers have to say on this Monday morning. One artist says, I wouldn't let my child take off on a sailboat like that. No way, too young. And Joseph Butera says, I do not think that going on a dangerous adventure with a young teen is acceptable. There should be some kind of law against this. There are plenty of places for a child to go, but around the world in a boat is not one of them. And in case you're just joining us this morning, I posted today's Buzz poll question on foxprovidence.com. You'll find it on the right-hand side of the page, right under the live blog. And this morning we're asking, how do you feel about young teens going on dangerous adventures? Your choices are A, it's fine if they're trained and prepared, or B, they are too young and inexperienced. And our friends on Facebook are weighing in this morning. Dan says, I know when I was a teen, my parents weren't going to stop me from doing anything. I'm not a fan of kids doing stuff like this, but sometimes you have to let them learn the hard way. And Donna says parents are legally responsible for the well-being of their children until they turn 18. No way does a 14-year-old have the maturity or the experience. And Susan Benedetti says, I can't imagine letting my child do this. So some great comments from our bloggers this morning. I'll be back at the end of the show with your web poll results. But